Hare Krishna. So you all participated in the chanting? Yeah? Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, the chanting of the holy name is very powerful. It is said that Koti Tirth Sahasrani, Koti Tirth Shatani Cha, Tani Sarvani Avapnoti, Vishnu Namani Kirtivan. It is said in Vaman Puran, and Bhagwan Vamandev is saying this. Yeah? So what he's saying is, Koti Tirth Sahasrani. You go to thousands and thousands of places of pilgrimage. Go to hundreds and hundreds and thousands of places of pilgrimage. Tani Sarvani Avapnoti. You get the benefit of performing all those ceremonies, going to all those places of pilgrimage by doing what? By chanting the holy name. Tani Sarvani Avapnoti Vishnu Namani Kirtivan. If you are just glorifying the name, the holy name of the Supreme Lord, you get all of that. So such is the potency of holy name. Now we'll sing Jai Radha Madhav. This is also chanting of the holy name. Please get your energy back and please repeat after me. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You know, when I remember sometime in olden days, somebody was playing the radio and the sound was very low. So the neighbor used to listen to the radios. Those days they used to share. So then the neighbor knocked on the door and he told his neighbor, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm playing the music." He said, "Can you open the throat of the singer a little bit?" तो आप सब लोग अपना गला खोलिए और थोड़ा जोर से गाइए। जय राधा गोपीनाथ, राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे। जयो राधा गोविंद, राधा गोविंद श्री राधे। जयो राधा पात साथी, राधा पात साथी श्री राधे। जयो राधे, जयो राधे, जयो राधे जय श्री राधे जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की श्रील प्रभुपाद की गौर प्रेमानंदे We'll do Manglacharan now. Please hear if you can't repeat. If you can repeat, please repeat. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanyam Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mayyam ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं सावधैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान् वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता श्री राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे भूतेर्महद्भिर्यैमा पुरो विभो निर्मायशेते यदमोष पुरुषा भुङ्क्ते गुणांशो दशषोडशात्मकम् सोलंक सृष्ट भगवान वचांसि मे श्री कृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं कथा अमृतं सतत पीबतं भक्ति वेदांत मार्ग पंथनं सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्म प्रसन्नं सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्म प्रसन्नं. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, please pray for me. May the Supreme Lord decorate my tongue. May the right words come at the right time. And may I am truly able to glorify Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, and serve all the living entities. Hare Krishna. So, I've been instructed to speak on Bhadra Purnima. So, how many of you know about Bhadra Purnima? Okay. Yes, one. Prabhu knows, Mataji knows, Jai. Okay, so that's fine if you don't know. It's good, then you are in the right place. Yes, yes. Well, literally speaking, Bhadra means auspicious and Purnima means full moon day. You have full moon once every month, right? So, we just celebrated Bhadra Purnima on Friday. Yeah? So, the Shastric significance of this is, actually, the Shraddha have started. Who knows the Shraddha have started? Yeah? Yeah. So just before the Shraddha Paksh starts, that Purnima before that is called Bhadra Purnima. Yeah? And during the Shraddha Paksh, we perform a lot of activities, and one of the activities in that is to give donation, Dan. And Dan is considered to be one of the devotional services as well. Sacrificing. Dan literally means sacrifice. Even yagna you do is meant sacrifice. Right? You sacrifice your time, you sacrifice your belongings, you sacrifice your Lakshmi, you sacrifice something, and with what mode you sacrifice? Without any hetu, ahetuki. Right? You give donation without any purpose. Right? When Narasimha Bhagwan offered to Prahlad Maharaj and asked for a boon, what did Prahlad Maharaj say? He said, it is not a business. I was just performing my duty as a living entity. I am worshipping you. I am glorifying the Supreme Lord. That is my constitutional position. Please come forward, Prabhuji and Mataji. There is a lot of space here. Please come, feel comfortable, take a seat. Yeah? So that's the significance. We donate something, we give something, right? And what is the best thing to give? Shastra, right? So there is nothing better than Shastra to give to someone, and especially giving something which can help them in their life, isn't it? Which can solve all your problems of life. In Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto, Sukadeva Goswami is Sud Goswami when he is also speaking, and what Sukadeva Goswami spoke, Sud Goswami is repeating in the assembly of sages. So he says, this sansar, this world, right, which is dustaram, sansar sindhum, ati dustaram, uti tirsha na anya plavo bhagavata purushottamasya leela katha ras Nishevanam antarena pumso bhaved vivid dukkha dava arditasya. This is 12th canto, 4th chapter, 40th verse number 40. So what Sukadeva Goswami or Sud Goswami is telling all the Rishi Munis assembled there is that of the living entities in this world, in this material world, who wants to cross over, Utti Tirshar, who want to cross over this ocean, Sindhum, which is Ati Dustaram, which is very difficult to cross over. Please listen carefully so that you can connect. Right? So what he's saying is that this ocean of material miseries is very difficult to cross over. And for the people who want to cross over Utti Tirsha, for them there is no other way. Na anya plavo. Plavo means boat. You have to cross the ocean with a boat. So he says for them there is no other option other than this boat. And what is this boat? This boat is Leela Katharas Niveshanam. Developing a taste for hearing the Leela, the pastime, Katha, the stories about the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And just by doing that, what will happen to them? Before they cross over, they have to, because they have vivid dukkha dava. Dava is in fire. arditasya, that fire, with that fire of miseries, you are being crushed again and again, again and again at every moment. Right? You all know that. We all know in our heart, we're being crushed by this material energy every time, at every moment. And this verse is spoken in the context of the annihilation. In the 4th chapter, he is describing the annihilation. There are 4 types of annihilation that he is talking about. So one annihilation is called occasional. Second type of annihilation is called constant. Third type of annihilation is called material. And then the 4th type of annihilation is final. Okay? So let me give you some more context. So he is describing Brahmaji's life. One day of Brahma is called a Kalpa. You familiar with that? One day of Brahma is called a Kalpa. And in that Kalpa, what is the duration of the Kalpa? 14 Manus, but 1000 cycles of Chaturyug. 1000 cycles of Chaturyug. And what are those Chaturyugs? Satyug, Treta, Dwapar and Kalyug. We are in Kalyug now. Right? So 1000 cycles of these Chaturyugs is Brahmaji's one day. And in that one day, there are 14 Manus. 14 Manus. Every Manu rules for 70 odd Chaturyugi cycles. And then you multiply that 14 with 70 and then it adds up to 1000 Chaturyugs. That is Brahma's one day. And similar to that day is Brahma's night. One kalp is night and one kalp is his day. Right? So when Brahmaji goes to sleep, there is an annihilation at that point of time, which is called occasional. When Brahma goes to sleep, all the 3 planetary systems, just above the Maharlok, Janlok, Taplok and Satyalok, those 3 loks are saved. But our heavenly planet is Maharlok, and the fire from the mouth of Bhagavan Sankarsana, it burns all the planetary systems. And all the living entities, they go inside the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So that is an occasional annihilation. And then another type of annihilation that he is describing is called constant annihilation. Every moment we are aging. A living entity, every moment we are dying. Or every moment, this moment that just passed, you can't get it back. Right? So you have become that old, or that old means you have died this much. It is like you have consumed, if you had $100, out of 100 you have spent 20. So 20 are gone now, you can't get it back. Same formula applies to our life. So we have died 20 years of our, if you really want to look at it. You may celebrate it. 21st birthday, 25th birthday, 50th marriage anniversary, golden jubilee, silver jubilee. Yes, you like to celebrate. This is the human tendency. We like to put flowery words around, around the facts. Right? But the fact doesn't change. Right? It is like a pigeon. When the pigeon sees a cat coming, what does pigeon do? Pigeon closes its eyes, thinking now cat cannot see me. And cat comes and eats the pigeon. Same situation with us. We try to close our eyes. The call, the time is always running after us. Right? So constant annihilation is happening. Right? And in that constant annihilation, Prabhuji Mataji, we are always suffering. Right? That is what Sud Goswami is saying. Vivid dukh arditasya. Vivid dukh dava arditasya. Dava means fire. You know how we sing? Samsar dava nalalidh lokha tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam praptasya kalyana gunanavasya vande guru shri charanarvind. Govinda. So this is Davanal, this is forest fire. And when there is a forest fire, what happens? Everything gets burned. So we are in this forest fire, Prabhuji Mataji. And we are being constantly burnt. We are constantly being crushed. Literally crushed. You know how you walk and you crush an ant by chance, by mistake? So similarly, we are being crushed like that. And in that scenario, so the solution, after describing these four, I've discussed occasion annihilation, I've discussed constant annihilation, and there's a material annihilation when Brahma's life ends. When Brahmaji has lived for 100 years, then this whole material universe, then there is so much of fire coming from the mouth of Bhagavan Sankarshan. The sun ray is so scorching, it just dries out all the waters of the ocean. It also dries out water from our bodies. The human beings, they start eating, killing each other. That's going to happen. Right? To that extent, that's the annihilation. And then finally this whole Prakriti, this whole material universe, it just gets burned down completely finished. And the final is, it goes back inside the body of Mahavishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu. But the liberated souls, the people who are liberated, they are able to go back home, back to Godhead. But people like us, who still have some ahankar, who still have some possessions, or so-called, our what you call, our feeling that I own this, I control this, right? We come back. We are given an opportunity to come back here again, lord over the things, and then if you change your mind, you may try to go back. And that's why Lord Krishna says, Manushyanam sahastreshu kaschid yatati siddhe. There are thousands and thousands of living entities, but hardly anyone tries. One of us tries to go back home, back to Godhead. Yeah. So all of these annihilations, Prabhuji Mataji, through all of this process, and from this process to get out of this, so now the solution that is given is Purushottamasya. Who is Purushottam? Purusha is in the greatest, and Purushottam is, he is the greatest of the greatest. Of the Purushottamasya, Leela Katha Ras. Leela is in his pastimes, Ras is in taste. Developing a taste into hearing the pastimes of that Supreme Lord. Right? Nishevanam. Very important. Nishevanam is in, you invest your time. Like you have invested your time now. You all have come to the temple. You all have come to take darshan of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. You know how one of the Lord's name is called Srinivas. What does it mean? Srinivas, what does it mean? Yes. Yes, it means God. Very nice. What is your name? Samarth. Yeah, Samarth means capable. Very good. You are capable. Yes, so Srinivas means God, but another meaning of Srinivas is where the Shri means Lakshmi. Where Lakshmi resides, Srinivas. And where does Lakshmi reside? Yeah. Lakshmi is always massaging the feet of Supreme Lord, but Srinivas, Shri Vats, so Lakshmi has position to stay on the chest of the Supreme Lord. She has a position, her position is to sit there. But instead she goes and she is massaging the feet of the Supreme Lord. Right? And actually that reminds me of very nice, when often devotees are arguing with each other. So Prithu Maharaj, and Prithu Maharaj here stakes a claim. He says, Lakshmi ji has taken our position. Why is she sitting near the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord? That position belongs to us, not to her. And then as if somebody asked Prithu Maharaj, what will you do? He says, I'm going to complain to Supreme Father. Oh really? Yes, I'm going to complain to him. I'm going to tell him. And then somebody tells him, what do you think? Do you think Supreme Lord will favor you? He will favor you instead of Lakshmi? Lakshmi is his wife. Why would he listen to you? And Prithu Maharaj says, no. He is Supreme Father. He knows our position is at his lotus feet. We deserve to serve his lotus feet first before Lakshmi gets a chance. And if there is ever an argument, if there is ever a fight between the devotees and who gets the position to serve the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord will allow us a chance and he will say, Lakshmi, you go back to your position. So Prithu Maharaj says this. Yeah? But what I was going to say, Shri Nimas. So my Guru Maharaj was explaining that Shri, who is sitting on the chest of the Supreme Lord, and when you come to take the darshan of the Supreme Lord, so the most beneficial thing is Mother Shri looks at you. Supreme Lord is looking at you, but Mother Lakshmi looks at you. And when she looks at you, she gets pleased with you. And then she tells the Supreme Lord, look, my dear Lord, this devotee has come to see you. You should be merciful to him. So that is why Mother Lakshmi is sitting on the chest. Because she is looking at you and she is recommending to Bhagwan Narayan that please accept him. Please be merciful to him. They have come to see you. So going back to the point, Leela Katharas. Now this I just described, this is also sort of a Leela Katharas. You can go back and contemplate on this. But the whole point is that I was trying to make is that the only way to get out of this cycle of miseries, Sansara Sindhum Ati Dustaram. It is very difficult to pass over, but the only way to cross over this ocean is there is a boat. And what is that boat? Yeah, that's a ship. But what is that boat? Leela Katha. Yes, listening to the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Now that brings to the point. You all understand why Bhadra Purnima, right? You all know that. Now on Bhadra Purnima, what do? We distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? Why do we distribute Srimad Bhagavatam? Because this is of greatest benefit. By the way, before I go further, how many of you understand the difference between Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam? Okay. You know the difference. Yeah. Because I was at a place and the president of that place, he kept referring Srimad Bhagavatam to Bhagavad Gita. Right? And he was the president of the temple. But anyway, never mind. We don't know. So Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters and it has 700 verses. So Bhagavad Gita is Vani of the Supreme Lord. Bhagavad Gita is in Geet, which is the song of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the Leela Katha of the Supreme Lord. It has the pastimes. Yeah? You can say it has the case studies. Or if you look at in legal terms, Bhagavad Gita is the law book. And Srimad Bhagavatam is journal. Understand? Yeah? So what we do is, we distribute Srimad Bhagavatam on Bhadra Purnima. So that people can go and they can read Srimad Bhagavatam, they can discuss the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And by discussing the pastime of the Supreme Lord, by hearing the katha about the Supreme Lord, they develop a taste. And by developing that taste, they want to hear more and more about the Supreme Lord. And by hearing those pastimes of the Supreme Lord, you make a connection with the Supreme Lord. And by making that connection with the Supreme Lord, you are able to go back home, back to Godhead. So that is the simple process. Right? So on Bhadra Purnima, falls before the Pitru Paksh, before the Shraddha Paksh starts, and that's when it gets distributed. Right? I tell you a story how Srimad Bhagavatam, the Katha, can have an effect. There was this devotee, or there was this gentleman, he had a son, and this gentleman was a thief. He used to steal, but he had a son who was very obedient to his father. And his father would always tell his son that you should never hear Hari Katha. You should never listen to Hari Katha. And wherever there is a satsang happening, wherever there is a pandal, he will not let his son go there. He will ask him to come back. And like this, he was avoiding his son to attending the Katha. But one day this boy, when he was walking in the forest, there was a thorn in the park, and that thorn got into his foot. And because of that, he wasn't able to walk properly, so he had to sit somewhere to take that thorn out. As he was sitting there to take the thorn out, there was a Bhagavatam Saptah happening close by. And because as he was taking the thorn out, some of the words of the Katha entered his ears. And the person who was reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, he was saying that Supreme Lord, He can walk without legs. He can see without eyes. He can do things without hands. He is so eternal. He is so, alaukik. He is so beyond this, bodily concept. And somehow those words stuck with this person. Now one day, father and son, they went about their normal business, which is to steal. And they went to steal some mangoes from a mango tree. And now father climbed up the tree, and father told his son that you stay here. I'm going to throw the mangoes to you. You collect the mangoes in a bag. And son said, okay. Now, and then he also told his son, if you see someone coming, please let me know. Now the father was throwing mangoes down, and the boy was picking the mangoes, and he was putting them in a bag. And after some time, the son said to his father, Father, I think someone is coming. I think someone is coming. And then father got scared, and he quickly came down off the tree. And he said, who is coming? You said someone is coming. He said, no, father, I felt someone is coming. He said, but I don't say anyone is coming. He said, no, I felt someone is coming. And then guess what his father told his son? Looks like you have heard a katha. Have you heard katha anywhere? Have you heard Hari Katha? Looks like you have heard Hari Katha. Because now you are telling me someone is watching. He thought he was stealing, nobody is watching. The owner of the house wasn't there. But the boy, because he had heard the katha, he is telling his father, no, someone is watching. Someone is watching. And then the father realized, no, that was a mistake I was making as well. And then they both, son was already, first class. But the father also changed his behavior. So this is the effect of hearing the katha. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna Tulya Bhagavat. Mahaprabhu is saying Krishna. Mahaprabhu is speaking to Sanatana Goswami in Madhya Lila chapter 24. So there is a discussion about this verse number Atma Ramascha Munyo. Nirgrantha api uru krame kurvanti ahetukim bhaktim itham bhut guno hari. So this verse was spoken by, so all the Rishi Muni, they asked. Because Shukdev Goswami, who spoke Srimad Bhagavatam, he was impersonalist. You know what impersonalist means? He did not believe in the personal form of the Lord. And then he spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Shaunagadi Rishi is asking from Sud Goswami, what was the need for Shukdev Goswami to study Srimad Bhagavatam, which is so vast? Why did he study Srimad Bhagavatam? And then he quotes this verse. He says that Atma Ramascha Munyo, people who are Atma Ram, who are meditating on who are yogis, who are meditating on the form of the Supreme Lord, not involved in any devotional service. Nirgrantha, who are completely detached, right? Who are on this path of yogic path, detachment, right? But if they hear the qualities of the Supreme Lord, even they engage themselves in started performing ahetukim bhaktim. Kurvanti ahetukim bhaktim itham bhut gunohari. The qualities of the Supreme Lord are so potent, are so powerful that people who are on this path, even they start performing the devotional service to the Supreme Lord just by hearing the qualities of the Supreme Lord. So this one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave 18 translations, 18 interpretations of this one verse to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And when Sanatana Goswami came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking to him about Srimad Bhagavatam, then Mahaprabhu gave him 61 interpretation of this one verse. And that's when Sanatana Goswami then asked Mahaprabhu that I hear you gave 18 interpretations of this verse to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Can you help me understand this verse? And then Mahaprabhu gave him 61 interpretation of that verse. And Mahaprabhu said to him, it was just two mad people talking. When Sanatana Goswami asked, Mahaprabhu said it was just two mad people talking. He was talking and I was speaking. And we just went about it and I don't know what I spoke. And now he spoke to him 61 interpretations. So that's what I'm trying to say is, so Mahaprabhu then tells Sanatana Goswami that Krishna Tulya Bhagavat Vibhu Sarva Ashraya Prati Shloke Prati Akshare Nana Artha Koy. So this is the potential of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami, that Bhagavat is Krishna Tulya. Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. This is Krishna himself. Right? And that's why on Bhadra Purnima Prabhuji Mataji, that is why we are giving each other Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the best thing to give to each other. So I request you, if you missed out on Bhadra Purnima, it is not too late. You can still take one book. This one book you can take from the front door. Take this one book. Take it home. This is none other than Krishna himself. Or you can give it to someone as a gift. Then you are also participating in Bhadra Purnima Yagna. And why just Bhadra Purnima? Every Purnima is auspicious. Every day is auspicious. So you can do this every day. You can do this every time. But this is the whole purpose. We are giving Shri Krishna to each other. Right? So Krishna Tulya Bhagavat. Yeah? Vibhu Sarva Ashraya. Vibhu as in the greatest. And shelter for everyone. Everyone can take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. It does not mean that only a pujari can read Srimad Bhagavatam. It does not mean that only an initiated person can read Srimad Bhagavatam. Even a dog eater can Srimad Bhagavatam. Even a most sinful person can read Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone can read Srimad Bhagavatam. It can be the shelter for everyone. Vibhu Sarva Ashraya. And such is the potency that Prati Shloke, every shlok, every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prati Akshare, every letter of this verse, right, is Nana Artha Koy, many meanings. Yeah? And then Mahaprabhu goes on to say, Bhagavat, Prashannottare Bhagavat Kariyache Niradhar, just by question and answer. So this process of questioning and answering. Who is questioning? Parikshit Maharaj is questioning. Who is questioning? Sud Goswami. No, Shaunagadi Rishi are questioning to Sud Goswami. Who is questioning? Vidurji is questioning to Maitreya Rishi. Just by listening to their question and answers, they do everything nirdhar. Everything gets ascertained. All the problems get ascertained. All the questions get answered. Right? Prashannottare Bhagavate Kariyache Nirdhar Yanara Shravane Loke Lage Chamatkar. Right? Just by hearing this, people think this is so wonderful. This is like magic. All my problems have been solved. All my queries have been answered. So this is the potential of Srimad Bhagavatam. And you know, it's not just we listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. Even the demigods, they come to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me tell you one story. Once there was this Vaishnava, his name was Punantham. He was living in Guru Vayorappan. He was a devotee of Guru Vayorappan temple. Where the deities, you know who are the deities at Guru Vayor temple? Krishna's deities. Who said Krishna's deities? Jai. Yes. When Supreme Lord was Krishna, he was in Dwarka, he had his own deities. He used to worship them. And when the time came for Krishna to go back, he called Brahaspati, who is the spiritual master of demigods. He called Vayu Devta, the air, the god of air. He called them. And he asked them to take the deities and take them to an appropriate place. So that's why this temple is called Guru Vayor Appan. Guru means Brahaspati and Vayu means Vayu. That's why it is named. So this Vaishnava, whose name was Punantham, he was living there and he was an ardent devotee of Guru Vayor, Bhagwan Guru Vayor. He used to recite Srimad Bhagavatam very nicely. And once, and they, in North Kerala, there is a place called Kottiyur. So he used to go there on and off. And in Kottiyur, there was a river and there was a temple near the river. And that temple was of Lord Shiva's temple. There was a shivling there. And the temple would open only a few years in the year. So this devotee, Vaishnava Punantham, he went to Kottiyur. He went to Kottiyur there and he took the darshan of Lord Shiva. And because people knew he recites Srimad Bhagavatam very nicely, they requested him to conduct Bhagavad Sapta there. They requested him to conduct Bhagavad Sapta there, and he started reciting from the 10th canto, chapter number 60, which talks about Lord Krishna speaking to Mother Rukmini. You know how Lord Krishna tells Mother Rukmini in that chapter, he's joking with Mother Rukmini. He's telling Mother Rukmini, why did you have to marry me? And now Krishna has 10 sons from Mother Rukmini. And he's telling her, why did you marry me? You could have married Shishupal. There were other Kshatriya were there. I'm not even a Kshatriya. People used to call me thief. Why did you choose me instead of selecting them? Oh, by the way, you can even change your mind now. This is Krishna telling Mother Rukmini. You can change your mind now. If you want to go, you can leave me and you can go and, decide someone else. And Mother Rukmini fainted. She just could not understand what Krishna is doing. Mother Rukmini fainted, so he was reciting this pastime. He recited this pastime and then he went back. So Punatham, when he's doing Bhagavad Sapta, he went back. Now next day he came and he would put a bookmark that today I recited chapter 60, so he put a bookmark at the end of chapter 60. Next day he came to recite Srimad Bhagavatam, the bookmark was where? In the beginning of chapter 60 again. So he recited the same pastime next day. Day 2, he put the bookmark at the end of chapter 60 and he goes home. He comes back next day and the bookmark is again in the beginning of chapter 60. He again recites the same pastime. So like these 7 days, he recites the same pastimes and then he leaves the place. He leaves the place and as he going, he realized he forgot his Srimad Bhagavatam in the temple. And he came running back. He jumped into the river, he crossed the river, he came to the temple and he looked at the temple was locked from outside. He looked through the keyhole. He looked through the keyhole and he sees Lord Shiva is reading the Srimad Bhagavatam himself. Lord Shiva is reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Mother Parvati is sitting there and listening the recitation. And all the Lord Shiva's followers, the Bhoot Ganas, they are also sitting there and listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Lord Shiva is reciting the same chapter. At the end of the recitation, Lord Shiva asks Mother Parvati, how did you find the recitation of this chapter? Mother Parvati said, my dear Lord, you recited very well, but I really like the recitation of Punantham. And Punantham is listening because he is watching through the keyhole. And then Lord Shiva tells Mother Parvati, that is why Parvati, every day I will put the bookmark in the beginning of chapter 60 because I also relish the recitation by Punantham. And then Punantham, as he heard that, he shouted Krishna loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then as he heard Lord Shiva saying that, he shouted loudly, and then Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, everyone disappeared. And then Punantham, he also got liberated. He didn't have to go back in the same body. Everybody, he got liberated. So this is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhuji Mataji. Even the demigods, even Lord Shiva comes to here. Now you're all sitting here. You're not alone. All these positions are taken by some demigods. They're all sitting here. No matter who is reciting, they relish Srimad Bhagavatam so much. That's why Srila Prabhupada used to stress. He says, no matter how much you preach, because our brain, our memory is so flickery, we will forget. That is why Prabhupada said we should give the books. Do you remember what you ate yesterday? Breakfast? Can anyone remember? You have to think. And if I ask you day before, then forget it. Right? Even if I ask you where were you the day before, you look at your phones. Maybe, because now everything is stored in phones. So that is how flickery our memory is. So it is very important that we read from the books. That is why Srila Prabhupada has given us these books. That is why we give away the books. It is not a fashion. It is not as if we are fanatics. We are giving the books for no reason. No. There is a reason for this. Because there is so much we can retain. Right? We go home and we read. You read and other person will hear. Right? So that's why that is the significance of Bhadra Purnima. We celebrate. Right? We believe in the scriptures. In first canto, Shaunakadi Rishi is asking a question from Sud Goswami. And the question was that Krishna, now that Lord Krishna has gone back to his abode, Bruhi Yogeshware Krishna Brahmanye Dharma Varmani. Swam Kastam Adhuno Upete Dharma Kam Sharanam Gata. So the question is, let's understand the question. So the question that they are asking is that, Bruhi, please tell us, Yogeshwar Krishna, that Krishna who is Yogeshwar, who is the master of the mystic yoga, right? Who is the Brahmanya, who knows the Brahma, who protects the Brahmanas, Dharma Varmani, who is the protector of the religion, or who is the creator of the religion, right? Who decides what are the religious principles. Swam kastam adhuno upete. Now he has gone back to his abode. So then where has the religion gone? Dharma kam sharanam gata. Understand? Do you understand the question? 5,000 years ago, when Lord Krishna wound up the pastimes, when he went back to his abode, so the question is, where has the religion gone? Or under whose shelter the religion has gone? That was the question. Right? And the answer is, Krishne swadhamo upgate dharma gyan adi bhi sah kalau nasht drisham esha purano ark adhuno udite. So the answer is Krishne swadhamo upgate. Now that Lord Krishna has gone back to his abode, he's gone back to his abode, Golok Vrindavan. Right? Dharma, Gyan, Adi, Bhi, Saha. Dharma, religion. Gyan, knowledge. All the knowledge, all the religious principles, everything. We say Kaliyug. There is no religious principles. Everything is bad. People are cheating. People can't be trusted, etc., etc. Right? Yes, it is understood. Lord Krishna has gone back to his abode. Everything has gone back with him. The knowledge, the dharma, everything has gone back to him. Right? And Kalau Nasht Drisham Esham. Kaliyug, the Kali Kal, has destroyed the vision of the living entities like all of us. We often quote Kaliyug. Very bad, Prabhuji, Kaliyug. Kaliyug has destroyed everything. Kali is coming, right? We all say that. Then, in the last line, the answer is Purano Ark Adhuno Udita. Yes. The Kaliyug has come, the darkness has come, but the sun in the form of this Puran, this Bhagavad Puran has udita, has arisen. So all the religious principles, everything else is in this Puran. Right? So why won't we study this Puran then? Right? And once again in the 12th canto, 13th chapter, verse number 13. Now I will just conclude. In Bhadra Purnima, one thing what we do is, we give away Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne. That is a tradition. Do you know that? If you don't know that, that is a tradition. Because it is spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam. When the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shuddha Goswami is concluding this chapter. Srimad Bhagavatam, then he is saying, Prashtapadyam Paurnamasyam Hema Singha Samanvitam. Yeah? Dadati yo Bhagavatam Sa Yati Paramam Gatim. So in this verse now there is the answer. Prashtapadya means Bhadra Purnima. The month which is called Bhadra Mas. Right? So what we are doing, Prabhuji Mataji, we are not just doing something whimsically. We are doing as per the scriptures, what is spoken in the scriptures. So scripture is the ruler. Shastra. What is the meaning of Shastra? Shasan. Shasati iti Shastra. So the definition of Shastra is Shasati. Who rules? That is called Shastra. So we follow the Shastras. Srimad Bhagavatam already said that. Yeah? Prashtapadyam in the Bhadra Mas, in the month of Bhadra. Purnamasyam in the Purnima, full moon day. Hema Singha Samanvitam, on a golden throne. Putting Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne. Right? Dadati yo Bhagavatam, who gives Srimad Bhagavatam on this day, during the month of Bhadro month, on Bhadra Purnima, on a golden throne, Sah Yati Paramam Gatim. That living entity attains the great Gati, like liberation. Right? They go back Godhead. Go back home, back to Godhead. So that's why we follow the scripture. So this is spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah? So I will just conclude now. Almost time there now. So we all understand what is Bhadra Purnima? Yes? Anyone has any doubt? No doubt. We understand the difference between Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam? Yes? We understand why do we give Srimad Bhagavatam? Because it is stated in the scriptures. Because it is the most beneficial gift. Why it is given on a golden throne? Because it is called Granth Raj. Any ordinary king will be sitting on a throne. Then why can't Srimad Bhagavatam be sitting on a golden throne? That's why we put it on a golden throne and we give to each other. So finally, Prabhuji Mataji, you can collect this copy. It is only $10 from the front desk. Take from the front desk. Give one copy for yourself. Take one copy for yourself, for your friends, for your family. This is the best gift you can give to each other. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.